In this video, we're going to take a look at finding the surface area of a cylinder. Now to start with here, let's just quickly show how we derive the formula for the surface area of a cylinder. Now for the surface area here, there's a few parts to consider. We've got the top of the cylinder here, so if this is a solid cylinder, which it says here, then we've got this circle on top. So we know the formula for the area of a circle, that will be pi r squared. We've also got this circle underneath, so it's a little bit tricky to see, but we have this base here, which is a circle. So again, we're going to have pi r squared here. And what I've also got is I've got this curved surface area here, okay? So basically everything that goes around the actual cylinder, okay? So this is probably the trickiest part to consider here. How do we get the formula for this part? Well, for the curved surface area here, imagine if we was to lie this shape down, this cylinder, and essentially just completely flatten it and kind of lie it out, then what we get here is actually a rectangle. Okay, so this curved part here that goes around, this would form a rectangle. Okay, so we're going to get a rectangle. Now the base of this rectangle, okay, the length here at the bottom, this is actually the circumference of the circle. Okay, imagine if we kind of go around here, got a circle that goes around this here. So the length, the base of this rectangle here is the circumference of this circle. So that's going to be 2 pi r, that's the formula for the circumference. And then the height here that we already know, this is just h, okay? So that's h if we're thinking in the general case. So in that case, the area here will be 2 pi rh, okay? So we put all of that together then, the formula for the surface area, if I just call it A, that's going to be equal to pi r squared plus pi r squared, so that's 2 pi r squared. So we get 2 pi r squared. And then we've got this 2 pi rh here. Okay, so plus 2 pi rh. Because remember the total surface area here that we're asked to find, that's just going to be everything added together. So it's pi r squared plus this curved surface area part here, which forms a rectangle and gives us an area of 2 pi rh. Okay, so that's our formula. What we need to do now is just substitute everything in that we've got here. Now in this case, what we've got is a diameter of 9 centimeters. And a height of 16. Now what we need is the radius. So if you've got a diameter of 9 centimeters, then the radius will be half of this. So the radius here is going to be 4.5 centimeters. Okay, so 4.5 centimeters. And we've got a height here, h, of 16 centimeters. All I need to do now is just substitute into this formula here for the total surface area and then to put it into our calculator. So I'm going to get 2 pi, so 2 pi times the radius squared, so times 4.5 squared, plus 2 pi times the radius, which is 4.5, and then times that by the height, which is 16. Okay. So at this point here, now just put this into your calculator. I've already done this just to save a bit of time, but what you should get here, remember, give your solution to one decimal place, you should get 579.6 there. Okay. Now don't forget the units, we're working in centimeters here, so because we're talking about area, total surface area, this will be centimeters squared. Okay, remember we need the squared there. And there that's our solution to the first example there on finding the surface area. Let's take a look at another one here. So again, we've just got a solid cylinder and we want to find the total surface area. Well again, let's just give the formula here for the area. So A, that's equal to 2 pi r squared. So 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh there. Okay. In this case, we've got a radius r here of 6 centimeters. That's given to us. And we've got a height of 12 centimeters. Okay, so height of 12 centimeters. And again, all I need to do here now is take this value of r, this value of h, and substitute into our formula. So in that case, we get a is equal here to 2 pi. So 2 pi times the radius squared. So that's going to be times 6 squared. Plus, so we've got 2 pi again, we times it by the radius and then times that by the height. So times by the radius, which is 6, times by the height, which is 12. All we need to do now is just put this into our calculator. Again, we're given the solution to one decimal place. So always just take care to note what the solution needs to be, or the accuracy of the solution needs to be. So if I put this into my calculator here, what I get, given my solution to one decimal place, is 678.6 there. Okay, so 678.6 centimeters squared. Again, we're talking about area here, total surface area. So the units will be squared, and the units we're using here are centimeters. Okay, so that's our solution to the second example. Now if we take a look at a final example here, the only thing that's slightly different with this one is the final solution needs to be in terms of pi. Now remember, when we looked at finding the volume of a cylinder, we already covered this in that video. So if you haven't watched that, do check that out. We kind of cover it in that video. But all that means is rather than give our answer as a decimal, it's going to be in terms of pi. Okay, so we'll come to that towards the end. Let's just start as we have done for the previous two. So again, let's just note the formula here. We've got two circles, so we get 2 pi r squared. And then we've got the curved surface area, so that's 2 pi RH. Okay. I now need to note the formula or the values of r. So r here, well, the diameter is 8 centimeters, so the radius will be half of that, so it's going to be 4 centimeters. And we have a height here, h, of 10 centimeters. So let's just substitute these in. So a is equal to 2 pi times the radius squared, so times 4 squared. And then we do 2 pi times the radius, so times by 4. And then we times by the height, so times it by 10. Now, like we said, for this one, the answer needs to be in terms of pi. So rather than put this into our calculator and get a decimal, what I need to do is simplify here as we go. So I've got 2 pi times 4 squared. Well, 4 squared is 16, so what I've got here is 2 pi times 16. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Let's just simplify this part here. So I've got 2 pi times 4 times 10. Well, 4 times 10 would be 40, so I've got 2 pi times 40. I mean, you could do all this straight away in one line. I'm just kind of going step by step here. 2 pi times 16, that would give me 32 pi. So we've got 32 lots of pi there. We get 32 pi. And then we've got 2 pi times 40, which would give me 80 pi. Get 80 pi here. And now if we just collect here, the pi's together, I've got 32 pi plus 80 pi, which in that case will give me 112 pi there. Okay. Don't forget the units, even though we're given the answer in terms of pi, we do still need the units here. We're working in centimeters. That's going to be centimeters squared, because again, we're talking about the total surface area. Okay. And there we have it, so that's our solution. So 112 pi there for the final question. So that brings us to the end of this video on finding the surface area of a cylinder. In the next video, we're going to take a look at exam revision for cylinders. So we're going to take a look at some trickier questions for volume and surface area.